can't for the life of me recall how this got so dirty. I'm sure it'll come to me eventually. This is the HS Produkt Kuna, made in Croatia, imported by Springfield Armory. Did a full review on it already, so I think it's time for a nice deep cleaning. And that's because I want to compare this to some other firearms, and because I just buried this up and caked it up so much, I want to give it a fair shot and get it really clean, so a nice deep clean. So if you have a Kuna, this is the video to watch on how to clean and maintain your Kuna. Let's talk about what you'll need to get this job done. And before I do that, YouTube, if you're watching, note this is for safety and proper cleaning and maintenance of this particular firearm. Of course, the first thing you'll need to get this job done is a Kuna right here. Then a lot of the rest of the stuff, which will all be linked down below for you guys, is from an Otis Technology cleaning kit that I've already did a full review on. I pulled a lot of it out of there, but there are some odds and ends that I've had over the years that I do prefer to use on a PCC like this one, a subgun 9mm as it were. And that's because the stuff you learn that works really well depending on what you're doing and helps with a deeper clean. But again, everything will be linked down below for refills on patches and things like that on the table here. I would say beyond the Kuna, the next most important thing is going to be some gloves. The chemicals and cleaning materials that you're working with are going to mess up your skin a little bit. Not a big deal, but it does be a little bit of annoying there when you have the oils and all the solvents and stuff on your hands for a couple of days after. You need some cleaning patches. These are larger bore, so like rifle patches, as well as some pistol caliber patches right here. You can also use cut up t-shirts, something more cotton. You don't want like a polyester or something that's like an athletic shirt that isn't going to be able to actually clean anything. You do want some cotton, something that isn't going to fall apart would be good as well. You also would want a 9mm bore brush. These are labeled right here, 9mm. I've used this here a few times now. This came in that kit I was talking about. Also, this one came with one of my CZs back in the day. This is a ripcord pull-through bore snake designed with 9mm in mind. You can see there's basically a built-in brush. This is pretty cool. I do like that for these. They're not that long of a barrel, but it's longer than a pistol, and typically with being this monolithic, it's sometimes easier to throw this in there and rip it through. But you can also just get a cable pull through, which is very useful. And then you will need a little eye hook here to go and loop some patches in and rip them through as well. I do like these tipped-in plastic polymer picks to get into all the nooks and crannies in here, especially around this trigger and the safety. I want to get that real clean of all that dirt and mud. A brush, toothbrushes work great as well. You don't need to go fancy. Get a pack of cheap toothbrushes on Amazon or Dollar Tree or something. This particular Kuna here will need some kind of punch. I got a plastic one. You can use brass, something that won't mar up the finish. I mean, it's all polymer, you're kind of hitting except for right here. By that being said, something to punch out these pins if you can't push it through with your fingers. Cleaning solvents up here. Because I did bury this in mud and soaked with water and pressure washed it, yeah, I'm going to use some foaming bore cleaner. You can also use some like hops or something, whatever you want to use. But this foaming bore cleaner works really well. I'm going to show you how to use it. Then I do like CLP. This is a spray can right here from Shooter's Choice. Here is some CLP in a needle tip bottle. This is one of my preferred methods. It is just easy to add lubrication points as needed. And you can also get like little bottles here. Shooter's Choice there. So without further ado, wipe this away. Let's go get this cleaning going. Cleaning a firearm is user's choice on how often you want to do it. I typically clean my firearms every few times I go to the range. I used to do it every time at the range afterwards, and it usually takes about 20 minutes to knock something out. But I just feel like these are tools. They're getting more and more reliable as the years go on, as technology improves on how the build quality is. And this is definitely phenomenal right here, just from my initial impressions, from my initial review. But that being said, up to you how often you want to clean it. I feel like every few times is fine. Just make sure you do at least some kind of wipe down and a little bit of oil if it does get stuck in the rain. You don't want any rust forming on any of your firearms. First step, drop the mag. All right, now we're gonna go and check the chamber right here. Grab your handle, pull it back, check inside and make sure she is empty. Nothing in there, all good. Feels nice and gritty. All right, now take our punch here. I'm gonna punch out the back right here like so. These are captured pins on the rear and captured on the front. So I'm not gonna go anywhere, which is good. They are a little stiff sometimes, hence why I do like this punch. Now the lower here separates like so. That's gonna need a deep clean. And you go over here, and this actually does not go straight back. You actually have to slide it down just a hair. You can kind of see there, just a little bit. And now this pops out like so. Now you have in here your recoil spring assembly. Right there is a kind of rubberized plastic. Again, I did wipe this down a little bit, but it is needing of some actual oil and actual cleaning. Now take your charging handle, pull it back. You'll see that as you pull it back all the way till it stops, that is pulling back the bolt with your rollers and firing pin in there, or roller rather, one roller right there, and firing pin. Again, needing a good cleaning in there. All these needs a good cleaning as well. Now, if you want to take it a step further, now you can actually go pull out your charging handle. It's actually a really well-designed charging handle compared to some of the older like CZ Scorpions and stuff I used to have here. This is neat because you can just slap it on this side if you want to. But also, something I haven't really seen too many people talk about is now, once this is out, this piece of plastic here is what is guiding your charging handle. Well, it actually only goes out one way, and it's that way. It cannot come out the back, and I'll show you why. Check this out. That is a roll-pinned spring, little capture button there. See that? It's like a pressure button there. So actually when you put it back in there, you need to push this down to slide it in. But if you go back this way, there's actually a notch right here that it makes it so you cannot take this out without depressing that. You can't get it in there. So that's pretty cool. Only comes out this way and goes back in towards the front. That's a neat little piece, because now if you look straight down, look at that. It goes straight through, monolithic. All you have is the barrel, whole upper. It's a neat design. They did pretty good at HS Produkt. So let's start with maybe, let's go easy, all right? Actually, you know what I'm gonna do? Let's foam this thing up just while we wait. I'll take this mag here. You can clean the mag if you want. This one's a little dirty. But first, before we do the mag, get your foam here. I'm gonna go and stick it in the barrel. And you want to have this muzzle slightly downward. Stick it right in there. The barrel is actually below the charging handle and below where actually the bolt rides there. It's very interesting. Little pin there. There you go. Just spray it until it foams out there. You take this, wipe it down, and then you're good to go. So now we have it sitting that way, which is good. Let it sit there for a little bit. A mat also is a very important part of anyone's setup. When you're working on this, you could just do it on wood. It's up to you. I'm actually just going to do a quick wipe down of this, because we're going to do a nice deep clean here. The brace itself, I don't think really matters that much. It's really ultimately up to you. But what does matter is this hinge design, which you pull up and rotate out. And what I want to make sure is that if I see anything, it is a little bit dirty in there. Not from the firearm, but from me beating the crap out of it. And I want to go and try to get in there. Let me get my pick and a patch and just get where I can, especially around this joint here, and then tucked in there. You do not have to do this every time, but like I said, we did some extreme testing on the channel for this, so I want to get it up to par. It doesn't look too bad, actually. I think because this is a closed unit when I was testing, it really locks up tight normally. And I'm actually going to drop a little drop of oil in there. And just give it a wiggle there. And set that aside. That already feels much, much better. But you can go and come in here if you want. You can clean this brace up however you'd like. This is a good brace. Little Strike Industries there. They did a good job. I'm going to say this is good. It's not a huge component, but you want to make sure that hinge system is good. Start with this slide here. This I know is pretty dirty, so I'm actually going to take a larger patch and just going to go over everything on the exterior. Seems like it does get a little bit dirty as you use it. And now take that pick and just run it through in the middle there. Do a little spin. Just clean what you can. There you go. Really want to make sure that this is cleaned up nice. Some of these parts I'm going to oil as we go. In fact, I'll take my little needle bottle here, because now I get a precise little drop right on the top. Give it a little press. There you go. Done. Another one bites the dust. This is not going to be too bad either, I bet. I do like these needle droppers a lot. Those are right on Amazon, down below. Alright, so this, you want to make sure that there is a hinge in here. So what I'll do is I'll clean the rod off, clean the handle here. I'm going to take a look in here. I just want to make sure that she is nice and clean. So I'll start with this side. Get in there. There you go. Now open it up, get it here. Go over here, check this out. This doesn't need a lot, but if you want, you can open it up right there and put maybe just like one drop right there. And now, anything with a hinge that needs to be mobile like that, maybe work some oil in there. Done. All right, recoil assembly here. Now, if you want, you could take your spray. I do like spray like this. Also, was Ballistol. Ballistol smells good. The only reason I'm doing this is because some of this stuff is caked in there. Now what we can do is take this, and then we can go up here, and we put a nail in one of your fingernails, like so, and start to spin. You're going to see you're getting all of the spring. You can use your pick if you want to get even deeper. However you want to get this to ride and get as much of the edges of the spring as you can. Just spin, spin, spin. PCCs take a little longer than handguns, but it's really essentially a very similar process. Move around to a cleaner spot. There. And now just wipe all this clean. You don't want a lot of that dirt, actual dirt, in here. Here, push this down a little bit and wipe this clean. It'll help. This is how you actually take it apart too, which is interesting. If you want to go that far, you can absolutely take it apart. They really thought of everything with the Kuna on maintenance and just functionality and features on point. But you can take this whole thing apart if you really need to either replace a spring or get in there and get a good clean. But I'm not going to worry too much about the spring. I think we did pretty good. All right, all good there. Now, this you could take down a little further if you'd like. I don't think I need to, but with the aerosol, the one thing you want to do is you don't want to spray directly into that firing pin channel. So if anything, you kind of want to hold it back this way. There you go. Now, we're going to do a quick external wipe down here. Get some of these nooks and crannies. The roller, singular roller, right? Not like an MP5. Right there, you want to check that out. Get that clean. Again, you could tear this down a little bit more, kind of like an MP5 would, but I don't think I'm going to do it for this time. But I think I will get as much of the nooks and crannies as I can. Especially under the extractor. So take a look, this is the extractor right here. No issues with this so far, so I can't really say the extractor is a problem, but I do want to clean underneath that lip. See, you get a little dot from underneath the lip there. I was looking in there. Nice and dirty. Get in here. These are where these picks really shine, because you can really push this down, give it a spin, bring it up, get behind the roller. That's a really good deal. Get up top here, push this along. Get into here a little bit. Get in this channel. Here. Maybe even rotate around here a little bit. Get that channel in there. Roller is looking much better already. Here, get the rear. Stuff this in here if you want. Get back here. Underneath here. There you go. All right, piece is done. Moving right along. All right, you think our foam is pretty much gone now? How's that looking in there? All right, so now you could either do a bore snake, which is easier for PCCs, or you can take your cable pull through. I'm gonna start with the bore snake, see how she looks. There's already foam in there, so I'm gonna run it through. So do this here quicker. Drop it in, and it'll push some more foam out. Now you're just gonna pull this, try not to get too caught. And the best part is you can also wash these, which is neat. And just pull it on through. All right, so that's the initial pull through. As expected, I mean, this one is super shiny. I can't really complain. See if I can get some light in there for you. Check it out. Yeah, I'm not too worried about it, But what I'm going to do is I'll run a proper brush through it, just in case. And I'm going to do this trick where you wrap a patch around the brush and take some CLP. Cleaner lubricant protector. So do it from all over here. Now, run it through. There we go, we're going in. Flip it around, down, there you go. There we go. So see, there's still a good amount floating in the grooves there. And just one more should do. How's that? Ooh, still pretty dirty though, huh? Look at that. Fine. We'll do switch it over to the pull through. Let's the other side. There you go. Grab this. See if I can get any more going there. A little on the end, a little on the end. Yeah, that bore snake needs to be actually cleaned more often just because it's just all caked. This will pull through. Much easier to pull through. That's probably good enough for me. You could go and do this 5 more times with the other one if you want, or with the bore snake. It's really up to you. You know, it really depends on what you want out of this clean. Now, actually, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to spray it in here, spray in this top channel here. Now, take my wipes and just start hitting anywhere I can. It's probably pretty dirty. We'll go inside out. But what's neat is you can get in here and push it through. Clean the barrel up. Just the interior of the barrel, might as well do the exterior. Now there's enough room to wiggle in here if you want to go and get in here. You can use your pick and just kind of go back and forth all the way down. Clean the barrel up if you want, which is good. I do like the availability and the openness of this thing. Add a little more here because I'm going to get these ramps really clean. Need some more big patches, I think. I do like the design of this. Pretty easy for cleaning and maintenance. It's easy to get where you want to. How's this looking? Filthy. Because now you can go rub your finger back and forth on the inside there. And then go on the other side. And just get a bunch of this cleaned out nicely. A little extra life in this patch. No need to waste. I'll take a brush now. Just get in there, clean the channel out. That's that grittiness you can feel, especially up near the charging handle. If we can get that far up, get it on both sides. Look, you can literally see it's like brown. There's some dirt like in there too. Tuck it in. Get your brush. Come back here, get some more brush. Get the channels. Much better. What if I get this brush in here on the patch? Let's go. Yeah, there you go. I love how open it is. There you go. Get the bottom of this channel too. Get my pick. It fell. Really, the pressure washer did a good job. I'm pretty happy with this. All right, put that aside. Now, mentioned earlier, if you want, you can clean your magazine a little bit. And really just the feed lips and the top here is a good starting point, because if you clean that up, you can now have easy access to make sure that all the rounds are in there nicely. Get this ramp cleaned. Get on the lips there. Okay. Last but not least, this little lower here, what I'm going to do is, here, I'll spray the front. I'm not going to spray the trigger, that's for sure. I'll spray the front. Gonna wipe it down. Patch in there. Clean the mag well out. Normally you don't really have to do that too much, but work on the mag well, make sure we clean as much as we can. And I'm gonna get the exterior a little bit around here. Some extra spray on there. There we go. Just in case there's any dirt on the exterior of this safety here. right, time for the old pick here. I'm going to use a little extra because now we got to be a little more delicate here. Get all the little nooks and crannies there. And where's the safety right there? Let's see. Get underneath the safety and inside here. Get down here. Get down in there. It's really not bad, at least in this trigger control group. You know what it is though, is the bolt's so high up that it doesn't seem to kick too much back here. That's great. And again, maybe the pressure washer helped. But just get in here as much as you can. If you do work near that spring, just be gentle. And get any little crevice you can find. Just clean it up. Let me see what's down in here. There you go. Okay. All right. How's that looking? Looking good. Does it feel better? Oh, it does. Yeah, this still has a little love needed, I think. Come on, my little pick. Get in here. Without removing this entirely, you can't really get every piece from up here, but look, you can get like under the spring, under the hammer a little bit. You can push some more patch down here. Give it a swirl. There you go, get a little bit more. So yeah, do your best with this. Now, get your needle dropper here because we're going to lubricate this as we go, and let's start with this upper right here. So we'll put this back in from the front, right, like we talked about. Already sliding much better. Flip this up, make it a little easier. Even locks in like that, but you gotta push it back here. Now, I would put a little drop right there, and then just drag this back to right there, and then line it up, push it in, and you got yourself a nice little setup there. Now, I would also go and put one drop, maybe like right on the top part, because that's going to seep down and allow this to move better. Now, it's just plastic on metal, so it's not like a huge deal, but every little bit helps, right? Now you got that. Shove that back, already smooth. Take a look at this. This is what I usually do for oil, for anything, right? I would go and actually wipe down some of this excess. You don't need it. Do what you can. Not to be like bone dry, but you know, start clean. Look for wear marks. So we know it's going to ride here. We know it's going to ride here. And then maybe on these corners here where it locks up. And let's see, I would say right here, and right on the other side, right there, and right there. And yellow right there. And then right here for sure. Now, that's going to spread out everywhere else you need. So that is a great starting point. I'm going to slide it back in like so. You might need a little love tap there. Don't worry. Be gentle. Should be okay. And slide it all the way forward till it locks in place like so. Now you have this spring here. It doesn't really need a whole lot of oil, but you can just run it through here. I mean, maybe just to protect it, I'll just run a little bead down it. just as a protective surface for it, is going to go in that hole like so. And this slides right here. This is a rubber piece. It isn't going to really move. You don't really need to oil a rubber piece, but if you want, you can. I will not judge. We already put oil on this. Push it in and push towards the top of the receiver. So push it in and push it towards the top. See how it slides down to lock. Push it up. This isn't going to move. You don't really need to oil there. So now we're good there. Now, you could put a little more oil here. Fuzz off of there. And then get a little more oil right there. See how it has a little wear mark there. This overall is looking good. This will be lubricated this way. This will be lubricated with that. That's fair. This right here, the only thing, it's a little gritty still, but let me check one thing. Now that I actually pulled the hammer up, so I can get a little more underneath. There we go. My pick go. The only thing on here you want to oil is maybe some of the hinges here, or the pins are for the hammer. Yeah, without taking this whole thing out, you're not going to get it perfect, but it's going to be good. Especially some fresh oil. So I would drop some right in here and right in there. And then maybe just right there. And then for your safety, you can kind of see how the safety works in here. Turns back and forth. I would drop a little drop in there, and then one right there. Like that. And you can work it in a little bit. It's going to clean up any grit you have. It already feels better. Now, start with the front. Pop it in. Pop it in. You also have this guy down here, so if you have anything in here that you're worried about, if anything gets stuck in there, you can pop open that whole hatch and clean it. But now, you should have a much smoother, well, that feels way better, operating Kuna. You can also dry this off a little bit, but don't be too concerned with exterior oil. In fact, it's going to evaporate. Next time you take it out of the safe, it's going to be dry. That's just how it works. If you have any questions, hit them down below. I'll be happy to answer them. Train hard. You never know what's coming. Dry fire, whatever you need to do to get that muscle memory built. Take care of your tools. Keep them clean. Keep them oiled. Keep them maintained, especially the ones you think you might need in a moment's notice. Take care of the ones you love. Those are the ones that matter, and we'll see you in the next review.